Okay, I don't want to know what the actual probability is, but based solely off of vibes, how would you feel about Mauricio Dubon being the power-hitting first baseman? Oh, I would laugh until they lowered me into the ground. That would be the most on-brand thing they've ever done. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 70 of the regular season, where the Astros win 4-0 over the Detroit Tigers and take the first game of the series. Now, this game is pretty easy to talk about. The Astros had one inning of offense, which would be the sixth inning, and from a pitching perspective, this was a masterclass by Hunter Brown, which I am very excited to say, and the bullpen had an easy night. The other news about is the stuff that we got to kind of dive into. So to breeze through the game, in the sixth inning, Alex Bregman with an RBI triple puts the Astros on the board 1-0. Then you get a Yordan Alvarez sac fly to put them up 2-0, and then Mauricio Dubon with a two-run shot, a laser beam into the left field stands, into the Crawford box specifically, puts them up 4-0. And Mauricio Dubon, like for a normal just Friday night game, he pimped that home run pretty darn well. Like, that was a really fun bat flip from Dubon. And there's obviously the many memes that are going around now of Dubon and Yordan in the dugout. I love their friendship, and I would watch a documentary upon that. Just, I want a 30 for 30, or a 60 for 60, or a 120 for 120. I just want a few hours of the two of them sitting there talking amongst each other. Like, Beatles Let It Be style. I just want it more than I want air to breathe. It would be peak television. Then from the pitching perspective, Hunter Brown had one of the best games of his career. Probably the best game of his career, actually. 7 innings of 9 strikeout ball with no walks and no runs given up. It's not often that a pitcher with a 5 ERA, an over 5 ERA, pitches like that. He's got it within him. Like, the Tigers are a solid team this year. They're not the crappy old Tigers that we're used to. They're good. They're a pretty good team. They're like smack average. They're around the Astros level right now. Hunter Brown can be really, really good. He's just in that very unfortunate time period where, like, he's still younger, but he's been kicking the can around this, like, stadium for 3 seasons now. He's got to start developing. That was a really good game. I'm not willing to say it's development because it's a game. But if you can start to see more consistent games like that out of him, and not even in the respect of, oh, he got 9 strikeouts to no walks and, 7 shutout innings, but just games where you feel comfortable with him on the mound. Games where he looks calm, where he looks in control. That's what you want to see out of Hunter Brown. And if he can keep that up, that would be greatly helpful, because we're going to talk about the Verlander thing in a second there. Then you have Bryan Abreu come in, solid ending of work, no real trouble. Josh Hader comes in the 9th, picks up a strikeout, gets the save. Not the save, pardon me, but gets the high leverage inning, if you can even call it that. It was just the 9th inning of a 4-0 game. He came in the 9th. I have no other words. He just pitched his inning, looked good, gets them through it. They pick up the first game of the series. Now, that's all well and good. The elephant in the room are 2 things. One to do with Jim Crane talking about being buyers, and the Verlander thing. To dive into the Verlander thing really quickly, yeah, he got scratched due to neck stiffness, which is not great, and Arrigetti's in for him. I don't know how long Verlander will be out. Maybe it's just a day thing. Like, maybe he just slept wrong and tweaked it. Hopefully that's all it is. You want to be careful with him because starting pitching is very, very valuable right now. But yeah, that's not great seeing him go down. And you might say, well, he's not having a great season, Weston. And I'd say they need any pitcher with a pulse. And, like, here's the thing. Even a bad Justin Verlander is a pretty good pitcher. Like, that's still better than average. So losing him is daunting on a team that is still without Urquidy, Garcia, Lance is still missing. Javi just went for UCL surgery. Like, they need anyone. They have a starting rotation of pitchers on UCL recovery. Like, do you understand that? They have a genuine all-star caliber, or at the very least, like, starting caliber, playoff caliber, rotation of pitchers recovering from UCL surgery. Oh, I want to cry. Like, and Lance is getting back. He's looking better. Posted yesterday, throwing off the mound. That was good. I've said it before. I'm going to wait till he's back, but, that's good. That's good. So, the Verlander thing has me nervous. The thing that has me a bit surprised, not because of the comment, but because of the reaction to it, was Jim Crane talking about being buyers at the deadline, and that report coming out that the Astros are going to buy at the deadline, and people are losing their minds and confused over this. There was never a chance they weren't going to do this, and honestly, I think if you thought they were going to be sellers, you just were incorrect. I'm not shocked. Ultimately, and this is my other thing, the Astros aren't a terrible team. They might not be the Astros of old, but they're not bad. And I wouldn't even go as far as to say that they're bad anymore. They're just kind of a average to slightly above average, maybe even good team. If you take the season as a whole, obviously, 32-38 isn't good, but it's like within striking distance of the division. And more than that, if you take out that just god awful 7-19 start, they're a good team if you remove that. And obviously saying, oh, well, if you just remove a massive chunk of the season where they were terrible, then they're actually good. Yuck, 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 yuck. Obviously, I understand how that sounds. They started terribly. They've gotten back to be a respectable team. They've looked good longer than they haven't this season. And I think buying is a perfectly reasonable thing. Also, I think the important context is buying what? It doesn't say that they're going to be aggressive buyers or that they're going to go for the top end of the trading block. But picking up a quality... And this is the other thing. There's a difference between buying rentals and buying players or trading for players. Obviously, if they're going out and getting a bunch of one-year guys, I wouldn't be down for that. But if you go out and find a pitcher, I think Verlander, this is the last year of his contract, plus he's getting up there in age. You don't know about Lance. You're still going to be missing pitchers for the start of next season. You're down pitchers this year. If you go out and find a pitcher that's reasonable on a pretty good contract and under control for 2 or 3 more seasons, heck yeah, go get that. Like, this isn't having to be a buyer for this season. It's having to be a buyer for the next couple. I don't think they're going to go out and get any rentals, but if there's a pitcher or a first baseman, because I love Dubon, and him as first baseman would be really funny if that worked out. But again, I'm not sure how likely that is. They need to go buy for 2025 or 2026. If there are pitchers available that other teams would trade for that are going to be productive and good and under contract in 25 and 26, why not go get them if you're the Astros? I see absolutely no issue with buying if you're thinking about longer term. Now again, rentals, flashy things, not a big fan of. But if you're talking about a solid pitcher, still relatively young, with a couple more years under control for a contract, I'm totally down for that. I think context is very important for buying with the Astros. And I have now talked myself almost to the point where the next game is going to start, which is in like 20 minutes. I'll be here probably tomorrow with a double for the game tonight and tomorrow for Father's Day. As for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Astros.